Obviously, we're in a recession. This is a good time to work on your business. So how do you know when you need a strategic coach? That's next on The Jeff Crilley Show.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is The Jeff Crilley Show. Well, there's a lot of great business books out there, and a common piece of advice is work on your business, not in your business. So if you're an entrepreneur who's spending all their time wearing 3 different hats because you're changing the ink in the printer and you're also trying to be head salesperson and head of operations, you're going to drive yourself crazy. To talk about that, Wally Bressler, he is a strategic advisor with the National Association of Expert Advisors. Thank you for coming on the show.
Hey, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Well, you
Good
have
to be here.
Yeah, well, I couldn't think of a better person to talk about this because you coach people in a variety of industries, and most people are so busy working in their business that they don't really have a chance to reflect on some of their blind spots. So how does somebody know when they need a coach?
You know, what I tell people is when you feel like you've done as much as you can do by yourself and you're not seeing the incremental gains that you want, it's time to go get some outside feedback so you can give somebody tell you a little bit more about what you need to do. You know, for real estate agents, they usually show up somewhere between 25 and 45 transactions. You know, and so they're at a point where like, hey, I'm making good money, but I just can't break through this barrier. I can't seem to get to the next thing. Or what I hear is like, you know, I don't have any time to myself, right? I have no time. I can't see my family, right? Because people get into the real estate industry, you know, is for time freedom, monetary freedom, location freedom, meaning make as much money as they want from wherever they want on their own time. But what they don't realize is that comes at a huge cost. You know, a lot of people jump into the market like they have recently, thinking everything's going to be awesome. Then they realize this is probably one of the most competitive markets in history.
Yes.
And they're like, oh my God, I give up my job. You know what I'm saying? Like, I give my job for this.
I remember years ago I was speaking to the National Association of Realtors, and I heard a statistic that 95% of all realtors kind of wash out in the first year. And that statistic surprised me, but it probably doesn't surprise you.
Yeah, I think it's 80% in 2 years. So first year stuff, but in over 2 years, about 80% of the people are going to be done.
Because they haven't really done the homework on how tough it is to run a business?
Well, not just that, but also I don't think they understand what it requires. You know, it's not like buying a franchise from someplace where you get like, you know, you get basically the box set of everything you need. You know, you get the training, you get the signage. I mean, all you have to do is basically open the door, follow their marketing strategies, follow, you know, McDonald's, you know, the fry later is always on the left, the grill's always in the same place. You know, you just take it and run with it. Real estate, you know, it's kind of a travel training business. You're familiar with travel training?
Sure.
Right. So basically you come in, you learn from somebody else who's ahead of you. If you're lucky enough, like I was, you know, you get connected with somebody who knows what the heck they're doing. You know, I was very fortunate. I sold 77 houses in my first 14 months in the business.
Wow.
You know, very fortunate. And I owe it all to the person that I got hooked up with because I got hooked up with the right guy. But if you connect with the wrong person, I mean, you know, you're stuck. You know what I'm saying? If you're getting the bad advice, it's not working, you know, and people either run out of time or they run out of money.
Yes.
And then they're done, you know?
Well, staying with real estate, because that's an area you know very well, I think a lot of realtors watch shows like $1 Million Listing, and they're like, oh, well, that's easy. You can sell a house and make a big commission with very little work, and they don't really pay their dues, and they don't know how tough it is.
Yeah, I mean, selling a house in LA is hard, but, you know, when you get $40,000 for a paycheck, you know, you don't need a whole lot of those to have a decent year. You know, they still go through the grind. I just think they glamorize it a lot. You don't see a lot of behind the scenes stuff. And quite honestly, since it's a reality show, they're trying to show you as much, you know, antagonism and confrontation as they can to keep you hooked on that, you know?
Yes.
It's not realistic at all, you know? I mean, the average real estate agent across the country over the last couple of years has sold about 4.1 houses a year. The average real estate agent over the last several years, despite the market being what it has done, has made about $47,500.
Wow.
Do you know what the number one biggest expense for real estate agents is these days?
What's that?
Their car.
Is that right?
Yeah. So think about your business.
Yeah.
How would your business do if your biggest expense was your car?
I didn't even think about that.
If
Right.
you wouldn't even be able to do what you do. You know, you have 92 clients, you have an
Right,
amazing
right.
studio, employees.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's beautiful. So I mean, if your biggest expense was your car, these people would be in bad shape.
Well, one of the things that you're doing a lot of these days is boot camps, and I know you have a virtual boot camp coming up, but I want to start by playing a clip, a testimonial. Let's go ahead and roll that.
Thank you.
So my market's Casper, Wyoming, and I believe we're reaching very close to about a 60,000 population here. When I first started in the business 20 years ago, the average sales price of a home was $52,000. Today it's about $210,000. Some of the challenges that I had to overcome early in my career was being a single mom. I started out with myself and then added an assistant, and now I manage a team of 25 people. This year, our goal is to complete 360 transactions, and we are very close to meeting that goal. I think of NAEA and the systems as being very motivational to me achieving the goals that I want to accomplish. Everything is so helpful that they do for us. It's hard to pinpoint any one thing that has been most beneficial. It's a combination of everything. My one-on-one calls have been exceptional. Just when I think that I've got it all figured out, I call, and then I get others, and I get Mike and Jay, who actually help me put things better in perspective and give me ideas on how to make that project better and what to do and what I can do to bring it to the top. Time management was always one of those things. I think a lot of people have a hard time with that. And so we installed systems this year. We developed systems for where we wanted personnel and what job positions we wanted them in, so that it would allow me to step away from certain parts of the business and grow others. I have sent people on my team to boot camp, to the last 2 boot camps, and when they've come back, it's like they're whole different people. Like they know their scripts, and they're excited, and they're pumped up and motivated, and I love it. I sent a new person on my team and a veteran, someone who'd been here over 2 years. And they both came back, and they both had great things to say, and they both took different things away from it. So I would say whether they're new or they're a veteran, they can benefit from it, because training is a real issue. You know, it is an issue. You put a lot of time into training these agents, and to have that provided for you has certainly been something that's been very helpful for me. NAEA is a designation. It also says to our community that we're educated, we know what we're doing, we're master negotiators, we're constantly building our skills, and that's important when we're out talking to people. It's very helpful in telling people who we are and why they should use us.
Wow, that was a great testimonial, and it just reminds me that having an entire team come to one of these virtual boot camps is really beneficial. Just helping one doesn't change the office, does it?
Right. And can I share something about her story first? Because I think it's important as part of this. You know, we were talking about all the agents that don't make it in the real estate industry and whatnot. I believe that if you really want to succeed and you tap into somebody or something or a system that tells you what to do, when to do it, and how to do it, you can succeed in real estate. Anybody can succeed. You know what I'm saying? So it's available to anybody that wants it. There's tons and tons of success stories about people who've made it in real estate. If you look at the Forbes 400, 500 every year, you know, the top people that make the money in that group, a lot of them are all real estate related, you know, success stories, you know, so it can work for anybody who wants to make it work. Michelle, I call her MTH, she's a good friend of mine. When she started her business, she was a single mother. Mm-hmm. She had, I think 2 or 3 kids at the time. Maybe she had 4, but she had a couple kids at a time, and she basically did her real estate business and created it by herself as a single mother with kids. Now she built it to be, one of the top businesses in Wyoming where she is. And those Mini Coopers that she has, each of her agents gets a Mini Cooper when they work with her. They're hers, but they get to drive them around town. And she's built relationships with vendors, and they basically put their ad on, and they drive around town with her image and her information and their information on it. So she's brilliant. And that's why I want to share that, because, likely somebody who's a single mother, single father with multiple kids,
yes,
you got to get babysitters. It's a time, it's insane, so anybody can do it, make it if they want to.
And Wally, some of the same principles that you coach for real estate apply to countless other industries,
Absolutely,
right?
100%, yep. Marketing, advertising, hiring, managing, firing, knowing your numbers, tracking your results, seeing where your ROI is and what you spend,
Well, and I had a chance to watch you just here in the lobby area. We were visiting with my previous guest, and I had a chance to kind of watch how you coach. You're a very kind coach. It's not a judgmental approach. Talk about what it's like to engage you.
How they would get in touch with me, you mean?
Yeah, no. Once they get in touch with you, what does the process look like?
So basically, we'll get back to the boot camp after.
Yep,
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to take us off path.
That's okay. No, that's
sorry. So basically, what happens is I do a lot of the coaching sales for the company too. So I usually have a conversation with somebody at a time. So I've gotten to know them a little bit. They've gotten to know me. I'm one of a few coaches at the company, so they don't always coach with me. But our process is prescription before diagnosis is malpractice. Right? You walk into your doctor's office and you say, "Hey, my head hurts," and he says, "Okay, let's prepare you for surgery." So rough, right? So right. So we give our clients a 22-page questionnaire. Ask them to tell us everything they know about their business. Ask them to tell them everything they know about their market. Ask them to tell us everything they know about themselves, so we can get a really clear idea of what they're looking at. And then, we go out 10 years, and we create what we call a strategic plan. And a strategic plan basically takes a look at how much money you have, how much time you have, how many people you have available to help you with it. And then we reverse engineer back to current day, and we take your 1-year goals, and we break them into quarterly priorities. And we say, okay, based upon how much money you have, how much time you have, how many people you have to help you, these are the things we're going to work on first that are directly related to where you want to go. And then we're going to every month add new priorities so we can continually help you grow. There's no more priority confusion. There's no more, not knowing where to spend your time or how to spend your time. There's no more spending time with people who aren't beneficial to you and your organization. There's no more uncertainty about the future because we've given you a plan. You just have to plug in and do the things we tell you. The great thing is you can still be yourself. You can still add things in. You can still maintain a lot of who you are. You just just plugging into a system that was tested. The guys that own our company, Jake Kinder, Michael Reese, their 2 teams over a 15-year period sold about 5,000 homes.
Wow.
Yeah. And so everything they created with their business, and that we kind of helped them with sometimes, was all geared towards how do we get you out of your business so you can become the true CEO of your business and let it run without you. Like, if you don't show up for a day, shows still happen, right? Right. Yeah. So, but real estate agents get into business because they want to do that, but very few of them get that opportunity. So, yeah.
That's very cool. Wally, let's go back to the virtual boot camp.
Yes,
and we're going to put up the website so
Thank you.
We can tell the audience a little bit more about this. What happens over the course of the 3-day workshop?
Okay, great question. So, we realize that, your confidence comes from your understanding at a deep level what you're selling, what you're teaching to people, what you're helping them with, right? And so there's a lot of folks that go in and they just wing it. They just show up at somebody's house. They think they know what they're doing because not their fault. Somebody didn't teach them. They try and get a listing, or they try and get a buyer to work with them, and they don't get it. And so it's tough. So this boot camp is really predicated on helping them master the listing side of the business, master the buyer side of the business, and master how to build trust with people in your market area, so that you can build yourself as a credible authority. And so, it's literally a very linear approach each day. We start with the very beginning. Here's what you do when you get a lead, and it all ends up to how you get somebody signed to a listing agreement, or to how to get them signed to a buyer agency agreement, and everything in between.
So do you find it when you're working with an office of realtors, is it best if they all set aside time during that day that they're all sitting in front of the same computer?
Well, if you're a team, yeah, because I think the interaction in your office in between, sessions or during sessions would be helpful, and I think you can share ideas with each other. I don't think that's a bad idea at all.
Did during the pandemic, did you used to hold physical seminars and had to go virtual?
Yes, yeah, we do 2 of these a year. So we used to do someplace like and the different hotels in the area. But we went virtual in March, and it was great. And you know, a good friend of ours helped us, you know, produce the whole thing. They did a great job.
Yep.
And yeah, so we did it virtual, and people loved it. I think we had about 160 people on from around the United States and Canada. Yeah, it's cool.
And actually, it probably works out better for a lot of realtors who couldn't afford to take that much time to travel.
Yeah. You know, success story. Maybe I'll use somebody's name. Or is that okay?
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
please.
So one of our clients, good friends of ours, Tracy Cousineau and Jason Williford, you know, they came to our boot camp. They were doing about 43 transactions, and you know, they went back home and they credit our boot camp as being the launching pad for you know, the success in their business. And now they're, you know, even this year, I mean, they're going to end up with well over 600 home sales.
Wow.
Yeah. So, you know, it's just a matter of getting the right direction, getting focused on what you need to get focused on, realizing that it's 100% possible for you, and then if you just plug into what we do, you can make it work for yourself.
Wally, thank you for coming on. We're going to end with the website so people can sign up for this virtual boot camp.
Yep.
It's kinderreese.com is the website.
Yep.
Wally Bressler, thank you so much for
Thank
coming
you
on
too.
the show.
Really appreciate it.
You bet.
Thank you, sir.
And that's it for now. We'll see you next time.
Thanks.